In Olivehurst, Highway 70 completely shut down due to flooding. Crews scrambling to clear 8 feet of water.
And more heavy rain is back in the forecast. I'll time out when you could expect the heavy rain, and we'll see more rain this week. I'll let you know when it's happening.
For First Lady, an outpouring of support following the death of Nancy Reagan. Plus, a shocking report on millennial wages, why so little has changed in the past 30 years. ABC 10 News starts in 60 seconds.
This is ABC 10 News at 5.
Oh, wow.
Wow is right. Saturday's storm leaving quite the mess, from trees on cars, a ramp and dock ripped right off its anchors, to flooding along a major highway now buried under 8 feet of water. And we're not done just yet. Taking a live look at ABC 10 Doppler radar, Mother Nature is making a return. Michelle is tracking conditions in the Weather Center. Francis Wang looked at how people are cleaning up, but we begin with Emily Pritchard, who is live in Olivehurst, where flooding is an issue.
Well, I'm up here above Highway 70. 65 is right in front of me here, but back behind me is the big problem. That is 8 feet of water covering the northbound side of Highway 70. It is deep. It looks like a river, but it is actually the road. And then crews off to the side here, off to my right, they are busy working. That's Caltrans crews, along with about 5 inmate crews are out there. They're up along the side of the ditch, trying to build up the side of the wall to make it a little higher so it can hold more water and get it out of the road. They're using sandbags, and they're also trying to fix some erosion spots. Caltrans manager Stan Richins tells me 5 inches of rain fell last night in a very short amount of time, and it just overwhelmed the system out here. They do have 1 pump running that could be emptied or help to empty out all of this water within the next couple of hours, but still the plan is not to reopen this road until around 8 a.m. Monday at the earliest. Now, last night around 7 p.m. this was actually the scene of a very tragic accident. A car allegedly drove around a Caltrans barricade a little bit up the road and went into the water here. The driver escaped and has since been arrested. The woman passenger never made it out and died. Now, this is a look at the driver, Nieying Yang. He was arrested for allegedly driving under the influence and is accused of gross vehicular manslaughter. He is in the Yuba County Jail tonight. And back out here live, you can see that work is still going on. Those lights you can kind of see off in the distance. They just arrived out here within the last hour or so to make sure that they can keep those crews out here at around 10 p.m. or so this evening. And you can see it is sprinkling a little bit out here. That rain moving in is another big concern. Michelle Apon is in our weather center tonight with a check of what's to come.
Emily, where you're at right now, you'll see a little bit of light rain moving through the area, and we'll continue with some light rain across most of the region. Let's take a closer look at Yuba City and areas just off to the north and south. Palermo, they had a quick downpour, but that will quickly move off in that northeastern direction. A few light showers will continue to move back in. Looking at Sacramento, some light showers as of this evening. Roseville and Folsom, some moderate rainfall. Looking at Stockton and Modesto. Dry right now, Modesto, Stockton, some light showers. Looking at the foothills, where they actually got anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of rain in the past 48 hours. Grass Valley, Forest Hill, some heavier amounts of rainfall occurring right now, moving off in that northeastern direction. Looking at Blue Canyon, all the way to Truckee, Squaw Valley areas from Myers into areas east of Pollock Pines. You do have some light snow, and there is that winter storm warning that will go until tomorrow until 4 p.m. And those snow levels will continue to fall later tonight to about 4,000 feet. Now, as you try to make your plans for the rest of your Sunday evening, this is what it looks like at 5 o'clock. We'll continue with the heavier rain getting closer to parts of the North Bay. By 6:30, you'll start to see more widespread heavy rain across the region. But in Sacramento, by 8, 9, maybe even 10 o'clock, that's when we'll have the heavier rain move through the area just like last night. By midnight, that will continue to push off into the eastern directions. Looking at the foothills, some heavier rain once again, and again, snow across the Sierra. So when you wake up for tomorrow morning, plan on a damp commute, and we'll also see some snowy conditions across the Sierra. We're also talking about more rain and snow this week. It's all coming up. We'll time it all out.
Here in 48th and P, you can see what's left of this giant tree knocked over in last night's storm. Neighbors actually tell me it was bigger than the one next to it and that it fell across the street, blocking traffic for hours and even damaging this car. You can see the rear window completely smashed out, a lot of damage on the sunroof as well. And this is just one neighborhood with lots of visible storm damage.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to fix this.
Daniel Silva and his roommates were just trying to stay warm and dry during Saturday's storm.
And we heard like a really loud crash, and we came outside, and my roommate's like, "Oh my God, the tree fell." And I come outside, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's my car."
We saw that.
His young neighbors across the street seeing a tree fall over for the first time.
Pretty much just a whoa. Yeah, a big whoa.
Aside from the extensive outside damage,
I can't open my trunk, and a lot of water damage inside. There's a lot of wood chips and debris that fell inside. I got some personal things in here that I can't access right now, some documents that I'm going to need later.
Luckily, Daniel has insurance. He's just hoping he doesn't have to get a new car.
It was a good car. I mean, hopefully they can fix it, and they don't make these cars anymore.
And that car, not the only victim to a fallen tree. Over in Roseville, crews worked to remove branches and debris on this home. Near Arden Fair Mall, it was a race to cut down split branches before they caused any damage. In Sacramento, Francis Wang, ABC 10 News.
Thank you, Francis. And there's no question this storm has done a major impact to a lot of different areas. In North Sacramento, 2 people had to be rescued from a homeless camp that flooded. It happened just before 11 this morning near Sorrento and Alberta roads. Witnesses say they heard calls for help. A man and woman were trapped in their tent when it filled with water.
Water is pretty swift and deep in some spots, but it wasn't a real technically difficult rescue. We just had to kind of make our way through some of the branches and trees out there and get to where they were.
Luckily, they are okay. That's the good news tonight. Fire officials say water was already 2 feet high. If they had waited any longer, it could have been much worse. And it's not just Northern California getting the brunt of the storms. In Southern California, more than a dozen people were rescued from the LA River. There's often homeless encampments there, and crews are still working to clear them. More rain is expected to soak that region also tonight. And in Folsom, police tweeted out this photo of a car that slid off the roadway. As you can see here, it flipped and was partially underwater. Luckily, the driver wore his seatbelt and was not injured. A reminder to drive carefully and much slower. And check out this mess in Folsom. Christina Mendonza sent this in. Strong winds knocking down branches all over the street there. That's a sign in a lot of places. And more trees are down in Stockton. This tree snapped and was on the side of March Lane in College Square. High winds knocked down other trees nearby. And remember, we are out covering this storm for you nonstop this evening. You can get up-to-the-minute updates from your phone with the ABC 10 app. Don't forget about our Twitter and Facebook pages as well. And Ryan will be out here all night in Olivehurst, keeping an eye on the crews out here and the cleanup. They're hoping again to get this road open by tomorrow morning.
All right, thank you, Emily. Meanwhile, a big loss today in the political world. A former First Lady passes away.
What should you do when someone offers you drugs?
Most gave her credit for her crusade against drug and alcohol abuse. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan embracing her role in California and the nation. She passed away this morning. She was 94. The Reagan Library announcing her death. ABC 10's Irene Cruz takes a look back at her life and how many are remembering her.
Nancy played a vital role in her husband's political career, often advising President Ronald Reagan on how to address the public and reporters. She was incredibly protective of him after the 1981 assassination attempt, and especially during the years when Alzheimer's disease overtook him. Nancy was very famous for Just Say No, her campaign against drug and alcohol abuse.
What should you do when someone offers you drugs?
She was born Anne Frances Robbins on July 6, 1921, and was given the name Nancy by her mother. In her younger years, she pursued acting in New York and Hollywood, where she met Ronald Reagan. She and President Reagan actually lived at a few places in Sacramento, including the former governor's mansion and the fabulous 40s neighborhood. We talked with someone at the Capitol about what sticks out in their mind when they think of Mrs. Reagan.
She looked so pretty in that red gown. when her husband became president. But I also remember that she started the Just Say No to Drugs. And as a teacher, I think that's really important.
Nancy Reagan will be buried next to her husband at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley. Irene Cruz, ABC 10 News.
And the California Republican Party released a statement today saying America has lost one of the truly great first ladies today. Nancy Reagan was a full partner of President Reagan in all of his endeavors. Her elegance, love of her husband and family, and devotion to our country will be remembered by all. Lawmakers nationwide offering their condolences for the former First Lady. Governor Jerry Brown saying Nancy Reagan lived a remarkable life and will be remembered for her strength and grace. Ann and I extend our deepest condolences. Also offering support, Brown's predecessor, former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
She was one of the greatest First Ladies, an extraordinary human being, and such a wonderful partner to her husband, to President Reagan, who was without any doubt one of the greatest presidents in the history of the United States.
Viewers also responded to news of Reagan's passing on Facebook. Angie calling her beautiful, classy former First Lady. Prayers to the families. Rebecca says she gets to dance with Ronnie again. Dance away, beautiful. Carol also saying she is happily with her Ronnie. Share your thoughts with us on our Facebook and on our Twitter pages. Meanwhile, more voters casting their votes, who their votes will go for, and who they think should be in the White House. From Maine to Puerto Rico, why this year's race is taking a turn. Plus, a shocking report on millennial wages, why wages have stayed the same for more than 3 decades. Other top stories we are following. 2 men are now behind bars, arrested in connection of a shooting of a woman in South Sacramento. That shooting happened just after noon on Saturday in the dollar store parking lot on Fruit Ridge Road. Police say a man tried to snatch her purse while she was loading her groceries. When she fought back, he shot her. The woman is now in serious condition. Police are still looking for another suspect. Police are also looking for what caused a crash in Sacramento. It happened just before 2 this morning at Broadway and 43rd Avenue. The driver fled on foot. No word yet if there were any injuries. Meanwhile, let's check on with Emily Pritchard now in Olivehurst, where Highway 70 is still closed due to all that flooding.
And the focus, of course, is Highway 70 back behind me, still under about 8 feet of water, but I'm standing right next to the pump. This is where water is being pulled off of that roadway into this pump, and then it's heading down this ditch, and that's out where those crews are, and that they're building up the side of the ditch. That's why that's so important, because they're trying to make more space and more room for all of this water to go and clear it off the roadway faster. Of course, they'll be out here through much of the night trying to get that done, and we'll be out here too. Ryan, we'll head back to you.
Thank you, Emily, reporting live in Olivehurst. Meanwhile, we are talking real money. After a car crash, some drivers may fear that insurance companies will not pay that bill. Car claims can get complicated, but there are some ways to approach talking with your insurance company. For one, stick to the facts, be honest, but also be careful about specific details that are not needed. Also avoid assuming blame. Even if you think you are to blame, determining fault is not always so cut and dry, and get your fair share. California law allows you to have your car fixed at the place of your choice. Meanwhile, a shocking new report on millennial wages had found a 30-year-old makes the same amount of money as a 30-year-old in 1984. When adjusted for inflation, the average hourly wage for both is about $19. That's despite the fact that millennials today are more likely to have finished college and are working in more a productive economy. The report also cites the recession and student debt as factors keeping millennials behind. Well, it is your voice, your vote. The race for the White House taking a bit of a turn this weekend. This just in, they are already calling Bernie Sanders the winner in Maine, Marco Rubio winning the vote in Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton making the rounds at a church in Detroit, the former Secretary of State in Michigan heading into Tuesday's primary. And after this weekend, that's now where 3 states for Bernie Sanders, who remains confident, saying he can still win the nomination and the presidency.
We have come a very, very long way, closing the gap nationally. Sanders versus Trump, Clinton versus Trump. You know who's doing better against Trump? Bernie Sanders is.
On the Republican side, Trump split Super Saturday with Ted Cruz claiming 2 states apiece, and he hasn't won any states so far. But Ohio Governor John Kasich's getting a big endorsement today from California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Happening now, Democrats are duking it out in Flint, Michigan. In addition to the Flint water crisis, the issue of gun control will almost certainly come up. It comes after a man randomly opened fire in Kalamazoo last month, killing 6 people. 4 states are holding elections on Tuesday. Michigan and Mississippi have primaries in both states, or both parties. Idaho is holding a Republican primary, while Hawaii will hold Republican caucuses. Flushing out more than just a foot of water on Highway 70. We'll check back in with Emily Pritchard and just how soon that highway can reopen.
And we're talking about more heavy rain this evening. I'll time out when to expect it. Plus, we'll see some more Sierra snow, and we have more wet weather on the way. Your 10-day planner is coming up.
Oh, it's slow going in the Sierra. Traffic is a mess in the high country. This is along Interstate 80 at Donner Lake, where it's also hard to see, but things start to get moving once you hit Soda Springs. Meanwhile, in Olivehurst, Highway 70 is shut down due to flooding. This is at McGowan Parkway, and that's where ABC 10's Emily Pritchard is live from the scene, where crews are working to flush out all that water.
I want to give you guys a look at just how wide this water covers the northbound side of Highway 70. Off to my right here, you can see where it starts. We're right near the 65 overpass. That's where that water starts to build up. It's 6 feet deep, and it spans all the way over here to my left side and goes past the bridge. Even, I mean, I can't see it. It goes out of my eyesight. That's how wide this water spreads. And of course, the crews are out here working to clear it. They still don't think this road will be back open until around 8 tomorrow morning. That car that drove into the water last night, it's still submerged out here. They won't be able to recover it until the water, of course, is moved out. And the concern still, the weather. Right now, actually, those sprinkles have let up out here. ABC 10 Michelle Apon is standing by in our weather center with a look of what's more to come.
Emily, where you're at in Olivehurst, you'll see some more showers start to filter in the next hour or so. I do want to bring your attention to some photos that we got yesterday in Olivehurst. You can see how much water is covering the ground. You can see that we do have some tree branches on the surfaces. And this next photo, you can actually see the trash can toppled over. What not to do, you cannot drive through flooded areas because you don't know how deep it is. So just keep that in mind. It's not safe. And if you see any water covering the roadways, remember, turn around and don't drown. Remember that rule of thumb. If you have any other photos you want to share with us, email us at weatherforce@abc10.com or use the hashtag you see on screen, WXForce10, on Twitter or on Instagram. I'll continue to share your photos at 6 and 11 this evening. Now, we do have more showers that have moved through the area. We were kind of dry this morning. We've actually seen a mix of sun and clouds, but then again, showers filtering in across the region. Here's Yuba City. Emily's down over here where there were just a few light showers, but right behind it, more showers are actually going to move in. Palermo, some light showers. In Sacramento, we have some light showers moving through, and we'll continue with some light showers until the heavy rain starts to move in. Looking at Stockton, some moderate rain and stretches all the way down into Modesto, where Modesto just getting that brief shower to move through. Looking at the foothills, moderate to heavy rainfall. Looking at Grass Valley to Forest Hill, even to Placerville, you have some heavier rain this evening. Now, if you know anyone traveling on Interstate 80, chains are required, not so much on Highway 50. Looking at the snow stretching all the way from the Sierra all the way back down to areas just off to the west of Blue Canyon. We have the snow levels that will continue to fall to about 4,000 feet by tomorrow morning. Now, timing wise of when to expect the rain, this is what it looks like at 8 o'clock this evening. Heavier rain stretching all the way from Yuba City back into the North Bay. Sacramento still dry at that time, but then by 9, 10 o'clock, lasting until about maybe 11:30 or even midnight, that's when the heavy rain will slowly track off in that northeastern direction. By midnight, most of the heavy showers will be across the foothills, and we'll still see some heavy snow across the Sierra. In Stockton, some moderate rain coming to an end, and then we'll see some light showers right behind it. Modesto, you could still see some heavy rain until about 1 or 2 o'clock this night into early tomorrow morning. Now, looking at your Monday forecast, if you are up early with us tomorrow, temperatures will be into the upper 40s, a few pockets of some isolated showers, but in the Sierra, plan on some light to moderate snowfall. Looking at the lunch hour, we'll have, again, isolated showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, to keep that in mind, mid-50s by this time, and temperatures will slowly warm up into the mid to upper 50s, so on the cooler side than where we should be this time of year. And then we'll have a few isolated snow showers for the Sierra with temperatures into the mid to upper 30s by that time. Clearing out, will be dry on Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, rain chances do return. We'll have rain chances until about Friday. And then by Saturday, we dry out. And then by Sunday, we have our next round of some showers. Now let's talk about those temperatures. Mid to upper 50s right now in Auburn and Placerville, low to mid 40s. Truckee and South Lake Tahoe at the freezing mark. And I want to show you this 10-day planner. Again, we've talked about Some more rain on the way, and it will continue for tomorrow, mainly in the morning with a few flurries by the afternoon for the Sierra. Drying out Tuesday, shower chances do return Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a break on Saturday. So I know everyone wants a dry weekend. We only have the first half of next weekend dry, and then on Sunday, more rain. So it's been a miracle March.
It is a miracle March, and so much rain. Hard to believe where Emily's standing. That's an actual road underneath all that water, not a river.
You and I were looking at it. We were surprised to see that was that much water. It looked like a river to us, and you could see the road sign saying caution, slow down, and that's a lot of water. That's pretty high in that area.
All right, thanks, Michelle. We'll be right back. Some breaking news. Interstate 80 eastbound east of Boreal is closed after a CHP officer's patrol car got rear-ended. That officer was transported to the hospital with injuries. No word yet on when it will reopen. We'll have much more on this on ABC 10 News at 6.